Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Wednesday video report. Free winner last night here on the video report with the Philadelphia 76ers hammering Cleveland. That on the heels of the Patriots and Jets going over the posted price on Monday night. Another free NBA selection tonight on your Utah, Minnesota, Utah and Miami game coming up in just a moment. As for me tonight, a play that came very close to being another 15-dime release, but I backed it off just a bit down to a 10-dime play. Obviously still my second strongest play in the NBA or college basketball so far this year on tonight's game between Chicago and Cleveland. Now, the Bulls are definitely the more talented team, and Carlos Boozer, 54 points in his last two games, his second and third since returning from a broken hand, and they're also the more rested team. However, the question that needs to be answered in this contest is whether or not the Bulls get caught looking ahead to the visit from the LA Lakers to the United Center on Friday night. That's really what this game comes down to. And that's what I'll explain to you in the support of one side or the other. The Bulls as a favorite on the road, or Cavaliers. Their only home game in like a 13-day span, I think it is. Plus 7.5 points as the home dog. That is my selection going tonight. Another play that I came very close to betting on tonight was this Utah-Miami contest. And by the way, just a quick, dawned on me. 30 years ago today, John Lennon assassinated. I mean, 30 years. I mean, they say time flies, but I mean, it just doesn't seem like that long ago. But 30 years ago. Amazing thing. Anyway, going on now to your free pick tonight, I am going to go with the Utah Jazz. Winners of 8 of their last 9 straight up, 14 of their last 17 straight up, 6 of their last 7 at home, where they've averaged 102.3 points. You know, defensively, the Jazz have held 10 straight opponents to under 100 points. They, of course, won in overtime in one of the most entertaining games, I'd have to say, of this NBA season. It wasn't in the first half, because after the first half at intermission, they were down by 19 points. They roared back and won 116-114 in overtime in Miami when these two met back in early November. Millsap, just a phenomenal game, 46 points in that, and I think he scored like 8 points in the final minute to rally and force the overtime in that contest. Now the Heat coming in here seeking revenge, and they're hot. They've won 5 straight games, no pun intended, Heat and hot in the same sentence. But let's consider who they beat. The Wizards? The Cavaliers? The Milwaukee Bucks? Okay. Milwaukee really hasn't played that well this year. Atlanta minus Joe Johnson. The Detroit Pistons? Sure. They won those 5 games by an average of 17.2 points. But again, consider the competition. You know, they have only beaten one winning team since November 18th, and that was the game in which they beat the Atlanta Hawks. They're 4 and 5 straight up on the road overall this season, with the losses, 4 of those 5 losses coming against the likes of Boston, New Orleans, Orlando. You know, so again, they have not played well on the road. Now, LeBron has certainly owned the Utah Jazz during his career, averaging a little over 30 points a game, and Dwayne Wade as well, averaging nearly 30 points a game in his career against the Jazz. But in this particular game where the Jazz have the advantage is the size, the height. You know, that's the Heat's flaw. They don't have a guy that can go to the rack. Udonis Haslem out. I mean, he was the closest thing they had to an aggressive rebounder. You know, you can have all the Eric Dampiers and Z-men that you want out there manning the pivot that are past their prime or never had a prime to be passed. But the fact is, you know, the Jazz have some height. That's their advantage going into this contest. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game. You know, they won the first game despite the fact that Al Jefferson was just horrific in that game. I think he only had 2 points on 1 for 8 shooting. He has certainly played much better here, especially during this winning streak. So I'm going to take the Jazz, and that's going to be your free pick tonight. They're currently getting about 1 point at home. We're getting 1.5 earlier today, but now it's down to 1 and even pick 'em in some places. So good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Thursday.